Do you ever feel like someone at your job is rooting against you? That strange feeling, as if there was always someone watching you, waiting for you to slip, to use this against you. If you've been through this, or are going through it now, take a deep breath, because this video is for you. Conflicts at work are more common than you might think. And I'm not talking about one-off discussions or differences of opinion. I'm talking about something quieter, more toxic, and much more dangerous. People who are on your side, or pretend to be, but who are actually working against you. The professional environment, which should be a place of growth, cooperation, and recognition, often turns into a minefield of gossip, sabotage, and envy. And the worst, you don't always realize where the scam is coming from. What if I told you that there are 5 types of toxic colleagues that can destroy your career, and that you may be surrounded by one or more of them right now, without knowing it? Yes, that's exactly what you heard. These saboteur profiles hide behind smiles, camouflage themselves in pleasant conversations, befriend the boss, and while you're focused on delivering results, they're focused on pulling the rug out from under you. This type of conflict at work isn't just emotionally draining, it also undermines your confidence, compromises your reputation, and can even prevent your promotion or get you fired unfairly. And that's why you need to learn now to identify each of these toxic colleagues before they have time to wreak even more havoc on your professional life. You know that colleague who always seems to be on your side, but who you catch whispering with others behind your back, or the one who never delivers anything alone, but is always present when presenting the result to the boss. And the worst thing, the one who steals your ideas, your credits, and still manages to look like the employee of the month. These people are true silent threats, and the first step to protect yourself from them is to recognize the signs. Because yes, there are standards, there are specific behaviors that are repeated, and when you know what to look for, you stop being an easy target and start protecting yourself with intelligence. Maybe you think you're exaggerating, that this is something in your head, that the environment is heavy, but it's just a phase. No, that's what they want you to think. Emotional manipulation is one of the most common weapons in the corporate game. They make you doubt yourself, disbelieve your perception, and that weakens you. But today we are going to turn this game around. Today you will understand exactly who you are dealing with. I'll introduce you to the 5 most common profiles of professional saboteurs, show you how they act, how to identify behavior patterns, and most importantly, how you can protect yourself without lowering the level, without wearing yourself out, and without getting hurt. Because yes, there is a way to shield yourself. There is a way to maintain respect at work, even when you are attacked from behind. And from now on, you'll never look at your colleagues the same way again. Ready to spot the first type of toxic colleague? So hold on tight, because what comes now can completely change your way of seeing conflicts in your work environment. And maybe you realize that the saboteur who harmed you the most was, or still is, closer than you think. Let's talk about one of the sneakiest, most common and most dangerous types within any company, the credit thief. This is that colleague who does not move a straw alone, but is always around when there is an important delivery. He approaches, offers help, takes a look at what you're doing, and when the time comes to present the result, he appears next to the boss as if he's done everything. It's subtle. Many times you don't even realize how much he is absorbing from your production, from your effort, until you realize that your name was not mentioned in a meeting, that compliment that was clearly for you was directed to someone else. This is repeated once, twice, 3 times, and when you try to position yourself, it seems like you're being exaggerated or even paranoid. This behavior is extremely corrosive, not only because it steals your deservedness, but because over time you lose visibility within the company. And when that happens, when you seem to be just keeping up and not delivering, you become vulnerable to cuts, missed opportunities, stagnation. This is how sabotage begins. And the most serious thing is that, in many cases, the credit thief is seen as an efficient, collaborative, proactive employee, precisely because he takes advantage of his delivery to build his own image. And then you start to feel invisible. He begins to doubt himself, and that's the first step to losing motivation. But it doesn't have to be that way. One of the most effective strategies for dealing with this type of colleague is simple but powerful: documentation and strategic communication. Every time you deliver something, send a formal email to your manager with a copy to whoever is needed, making it clear what was done, by whom, and with what impact. This creates a trail, a historical one, something that can be used as a reference in decisive moments. Also, learn how to communicate your results safely. Don't expect others to recognize your effort. Show, with data, with evidence, with posture. Because in the workplace, those who don't take a stand are taken by others, and usually by people like this type of colleague. But the credit thief is just the beginning. There is an even more treacherous type who often presents himself as his best friend. Do you know that colleague who supports you, who listens to your outbursts, who always seems to be on your side, who calls you to lunch, sends you a message praising your work, says you'll grow up fast? This is the false friend. The problem is not the support, but the hidden interest. The false friend is the one who approaches you not because he wants your good, but because he wants access to your trust. And when he conquers that, he uses it against you. It spreads what you've shared in moments of vulnerability. He tells his insecurities to others. He turns your words into gossip, distorts what you said, and even says it was misunderstood. The most painful thing is that you only realize it when you are already injured, when trust was broken, when the boss looks at you weird and you don't understand why, when colleagues change their behavior and you feel like you're being judged. The impact of false friend is emotional. It destabilizes you inside. It makes you lose faith in people, and often in yourself. And he loves to play the victim. Whenever you confront him, he says that it wasn't quite that you're exaggerating, that it's just an impression. It confuses you, it paralyzes you, and it isolates you. So how to protect yourself? The answer lies in a basic principle of emotional intelligence. Test before you trust. Don't share everything with everyone. Use small pieces of information to observe how the person handles what you said. If what you commented on in confidence comes back to you from another source, you already know who you are dealing with, and at that point, you need to keep a strategic distance. Be polite, cordial, professional, but preserve your boundaries. Your personal and emotional life cannot be a bargaining chip in an environment where many are disguised as allies. And speaking of disguise, we come to one of the most destructive saboteurs in the professional environment, the gossipy manipulator. This is the one who seems to know everything. It's in every conversation. He is close to everyone. He knows the secrets, the backstage. But make no mistake, he doesn't share information out of innocence or team spirit. He spreads gossip like a weapon, and worse, it distorts. He takes a detail, a phrase out of context, constructive criticism, and turns it into a personal attack. And suddenly, without understanding how, you became the villain of the story. People move away, the climate changes, your name starts to circulate negatively, and you can't trace the source. This type of sabotage is an attack on your reputation, and in the corporate world, reputation is everything. Even if you are competent, if people start to view you with suspicion, you lose strength. The gossipy manipulator plays dirty because he knows that image is worth more than result in many environments. So your protection needs to be twofold, emotional and strategic. First, never give ammunition. Avoid getting involved in gossip circles. Avoid commenting on colleagues or leaders. Keep your posture neutral and focused on work. Second, record important email conversations, especially if they involve decisions, responsibilities, or agreements. This protects you from distortion and creates a reliable history. And remember, silence is also a powerful weapon. Not responding to provocations is a way to disarm those who try to attack you from behind. But if there's a saboteur who turns the environment into a veritable arena of unhealthy competition, it's the obsessive competitor. This type is driven by comparison. He needs to feel better than you. It needs to beat you. It doesn't matter if the goal was reached, if the client is satisfied, if the project was successfully delivered. What matters to him is that the boss sees him as more competent. He will try to expose you. It will interrupt you in meetings. He will correct you publicly to look superior. He will look for errors in your work not to help you, but to use against you. And the worst, in many places, this type is encouraged because it appears productive. But the cost of this is a hostile, extremely competitive, and emotionally unsustainable environment. The best defense in this case is emotional intelligence. You can't play his game. Don't fall into the trap of comparison. Focus on your results. Keep up excellence. Build your reputation by consistency, not dispute. If he attacks you, respond with data. If he exposes you, keep your posture. When he realizes that he can't destabilize you, he loses strength. What's more, people like this are like mirrors. They end up revealing who they are over time. And when this happens, those who are attentive will realize who really delivers and who just fights for status. And now perhaps the most dangerous type of all, the boss's bootlicker. This colleague is strategic, sneaky, and knows exactly how to look like the perfect employee. He's always around when the leader shows up. He praises in public, agrees with everything, delivers compliments as if they were bargaining chips. But from behind, he sabotages. He plants doubts about others, manipulates information, distorts numbers. And the scariest thing is that he usually has the power of influence. He builds such a good image that the leader doesn't even suspect it. And when you try to warn, it seems like repression, it seems like jealousy, it seems like intrigue. This type undermines your credibility because he will work behind the scenes to weaken his image little by little. It will place you as difficult, as unstable, as uncooperative, and all this without leaving a trace. The only way to protect yourself from someone like this is with reputation shielding. You need to build authority within the company. He needs to be seen as someone reliable, constant, professional. Your results need to speak for you. Your emails, your deliveries, your attitudes. Be firm but polite. Be clear but strategic. And never get into direct confrontation with someone like that. Use your emotional intelligence to protect your image, because at the end of the day, what will save you is your consistency, not your impulsiveness. And if you've made it this far, you've already realized that many of these toxic behaviors aren't overkill. They're real, painful, and dangerously common. Conflicts at work are not born out of nowhere. They are built slowly, fueled by ego games, silent disputes, and a culture that often rewards those who know how to play the game more than those who actually deliver results. And this is the point at which many professionals begin to question themselves. Is it worth continuing in this environment? Is it me the problem? How can I protect myself without seeming antisocial or paranoid? These questions are legitimate because living in a toxic work environment doesn't just affect your career, it sickens your mind, your body, and your self-confidence. What you need to understand is that the corporate system was often not built to reward justice, but to preserve hierarchies and convenience. And those who learn to protect themselves emotionally, who develop strategic intelligence, can not only survive, but thrive, even surrounded by saboteurs. And at this point, many people make a mistake. They try to confront the saboteur directly. He starts to discuss, tries to unmask, publicly confront. But this attitude, as fair as it may seem, almost always plays against you. Do you know why? Because these toxic colleagues know how to manipulate the environment. They count on their emotional reaction to turn the tables in their favor. They play the victim of misunderstood, And who loses control, he also loses his reason. Therefore, the next level of your professional evolution needs to include a new way of positioning yourself. You need to stop being predictable. The saboteur relies on his predictability. He knows that if he pokes you, you'll react. That if he spreads something about you, you'll justify yourself. That if he ignores you in a meeting, you'll be shaken. But what if instead you reacted with silence, with strategic coldness, with results so solid that they made any gossip, any manipulation completely irrelevant? This is the game you need to learn to play. A game where your greatest weapon isn't confrontation, it's consistency. And consistency starts with small habits. Proofreading your own emails before sending. Prepare before an important meeting. Record everything that is sensitive. Do not fall into provocation. Do not comment on what is not completely under your control, because toxic colleagues live on loopholes. And the more armored you are, the more frustrated they become. And when they get frustrated, they expose themselves. They make mistakes. They lose their mask. But that only happens when you stop fanning the flame of rivalry and start operating at a higher level. And here comes another crucial part: the way you communicate. Communication is the most powerful tool you have in the corporate environment. Knowing what to say, how to say it, and, most importantly, what not to say, can define your reputation. In toxic companies, gossip runs faster than any data. So if you want to preserve your image, learn to be clear, objective, and above all, intelligent in your communication. Every word can be used to your advantage or against you. And at this point, you may be wondering, okay, but what if the whole environment is toxic? What if it's not just one or two colleagues, but an entire culture that favors this type of behavior? The answer is hard but necessary. You need to prepare to leave, not immediately, not impulsively, but with strategy, because no career is worth your mental health. No salary justifies living on constant alert, afraid of being sabotaged, afraid of those who are smiling in front of you. But while this exit does not happen, you need to learn to survive, to protect yourself, to keep your energy preserved, your mind sharp, and your reputation unshakable. And that's why this video is so important, because while no one talks openly about the dirty backstage of the work environment, you're here looking for real, direct, and practical knowledge. This already shows that you are one step ahead, that you don't want to be caught off guard anymore, that you're willing to build an invisible but extremely effective shield against all kinds of saboteurs who cross your path. And if you doubt that this is possible, let me tell you, I've seen completely discredited professionals turn the tables simply by understanding how the system works and using it to their advantage. And it all starts with this awareness. There are toxic profiles, yes, and they're closer than you might think. But now that you know the top 5 types, the game changes. You can spot the credit thief from a distance. You recognize the false friend in the small inconsistencies. You see the gossipy manipulator when he starts distorting speech and gestures. You notice the obsessive competitor before he tries to humiliate you. And you spot the boss's bootlicker as soon as he starts forcing compliments and forced smiles whenever there's someone in a leadership position around. This all gives you power. Power of choice, positioning, of reaction. You stop acting on automatic and start moving strategically. Every attitude of yours becomes intentional. Every silence, every word, every surrender. This is emotional maturity. That's professional intelligence. And that's exactly what saboteurs fear the most. A professional who doesn't get shaken, that does not react on impulse, which is not justified, who doesn't get involved in low games, because this professional becomes unattainable. And the most beautiful thing about it all is that when you start to shield yourself, to position yourself, to stand out for what you really deliver, something also changes around you. Toxic people start avoiding you because they realize that you are different. Colleagues who were in doubt about you start to respect you. Leaders start to see you with different eyes. Because in an environment where everyone screams, those who keep their composure stand out. And no, that doesn't mean becoming a robot. It does not mean swallowing a frog or accepting injustice in silence. It means intelligence. It means choosing the right battles. It means knowing when to speak, when to shut up, and when to let time and facts speak for you. And if you've made it this far, you're already on that path, a path where you will no longer allow invisible saboteurs to steal your brilliance, your energy, your self-esteem. A path where you understand that protecting your career starts with protecting your mind. And that's exactly why the next step we're going to take together here is even more important. Now that you know the 5 most dangerous types of toxic colleagues and understand the real impact they can have, it's time to dig deeper. Because identifying is the beginning, but to really shield yourself demands more. It requires technique. It requires intelligence. It requires strategy. And that's what you'll see next. If you identified with any of these toxic colleagues, we just explored together, know one very important thing. It's common, normal, and you're not alone. What you live or have experienced in the workplace is unfortunately the silent reality of thousands of professionals around the world. Honest, dedicated, competent people being left behind by colleagues who play dirty. And the cruelest thing is that many times this pain is invisible. Nobody sees it, nobody validates it, and you suffocate everything inside, thinking you need to endure. Smile, pretend that everything is fine. But it doesn't have to be this way. You no longer have to live at the mercy of corporate trappings. There is a way out, and it starts now. Yes, there are saboteurs, there are heavy environments, there are negligent bosses and venomous colleagues, but there is something that no one can take away from you. Your ability to learn to shield yourself, to develop a strategic emotional intelligence that transforms the way you deal with each attack. And when you master that, things change. You stop being the easy target. You stop reacting impulsively and start responding strategically. You are no longer weakened by crossed looks, by parallel conversations, by ego games, because now you understand the game. And more than that, you learn to play in your time, in your rules, with your weapons. And what are these weapons? The first of these is self-awareness. Know how to recognize the environment in which you are inserted. Know how to identify patterns of manipulation, repetitive behaviors, subtle movements of sabotage. When you see, you break the cycle, because the greatest strength of a saboteur is his invisibility. And now you have names, traits, attitudes, and triggers to identify each one of them. That's power. The second weapon is strategic documentation. Learn how to record everything: emails, meetings, deliveries, important conversations. It is not about paranoia, but about intelligence. To have proof, to have traces, to have facts. When the game gets dirty, those who have records play fair and win. The third is assertive communication. Speak clearly. Position yourself politely, but without submission. Whoever dominates speech dominates the environment, and the saboteur loses space when you take your place firmly. The fourth, perhaps the most challenging, is emotional control. They'll tease you. They'll try to make you explode. They will plant doubts, ignore you, demoralize you. But when you respond with serenity, with consistency, with intelligent silence, you break the cycle. And nothing frustrates a manipulator more than someone who doesn't react as he expected. The fifth weapon is solid reputation. Build this every day, with delivery, with responsibility, with coherence. When you have a strong image within the company, saboteurs even try, but they don't stick, because those who build real respect have a natural shield against gossip, lies, and low attacks. The sixth and final, but perhaps the most transformative, is internal positioning. Truly understand your value. Don't expect external validation. Recognize your skills, your effort, your trajectory. Your professional self-esteem is the first shield against any toxic environment. Those who know who it is are not shaken by what they say. And maybe you're thinking right now, but this is all hard. I feel drained. And yes, it's hard, it's tiring, because surviving the work environment when it is hostile requires more than technique. It requires mental and emotional preparation and a strength that only those who have lived it understand. But I assure you, it is possible, and you will begin to feel this turn when you apply what you are learning here, little by little, in your daily life. When to stop being silent where you should be standing, when you stop seeking approval from those who clearly want to see you fall. When to change the "why is this happening to me" to "what can I do now to turn this game around?" And no, you don't have to be friends with everyone, but it needs to be respected by everyone. And respect does not come from shouting, it doesn't come from fighting, it does not come from the exhibition. It comes from steadfastness, of constancy, from the intelligence of those who know that the corporate game is not won by being the nicest, but by being the most prepared. And it is this preparation that will take you out of the cycle of pain, frustration, and feeling of helplessness. Because now you know, now you understand, now you have a name, you have a map, you have a plan. You're going from being just another player in the game to someone who understands the rules and plays above them. And you know what's most powerful about it all? It's just that when you start to really take a stand, when you show that you have clarity, strength, and emotional maturity, the saboteurs don't know how to deal with you. They get lost, because they were used to dominating those who are afraid, those who are silent, those who blame themselves. But you are no longer that person. You're on another level now, and they know it, so they will try even harder. But you'll be ready. Now that you understand the problem and know the basis of the solution, it's time to apply, to transform this into a real attitude in daily practice, to make everything that blocked you until now become fuel to build your stronger, more prepared, and more respected version at work. Protecting your career is protecting your mental health. And these colleagues, they are like viruses in disguise. They don't attack all at once. They infiltrate. They act in the shadows. They undermine your confidence little by little. And when you realize it, you are already questioning your own worth, your decisions, your capacity. Therefore, more than learning productivity techniques or how to stand out in the corporate environment, you need to learn how to protect yourself, to shield yourself emotionally. Because in this game, those who lack emotional preparation end up being the first to fall, not due to lack of talent, but due to excessive wear and tear. And if you've come this far, it's because you know that you can no longer continue to expose yourself emotionally in environments where the game is dirty. You have already understood that the problem is not only in you, it is in the system, in relationships, in toxic behaviors that, unfortunately, are much more common than you might think. And that's why I want to hear from you now. Yes, you, because what you've already experienced can help other people who are watching this video right now. Tell me here in the comments, which of these types of toxic colleagues have you faced in your work? Was it the credit thief who stole your ideas? Was it the fake friend who stabbed you in the back? Or was it that bootlicker who smiled at the boss and plotted his downfall behind the scenes? Share it below, not only because it's important to vent, but because your story can help someone identify and get out of a similar situation. Here is a safe space where we talk about what no one has the courage to say in the corporate world. Here we support each other. Here we get stronger. And if this content made sense to you, if it helped you see more clearly, feel stronger, more prepared, then subscribe to the channel and activate the bell. Because every week there is a new video with real strategies for emotional survival at work. Here we don't romanticize the professional environment. Here we speak the truth. It shows the backstage. It teaches how to turn the tide. And it prepares you to be respected in any environment, even when everyone wants to bring you down. And now that you understand how to protect yourself from these 5 saboteurs, I want to invite you to continue this journey with me, because there is a specific type of colleague that most people don't understand at first. A guy who approaches smiling, offering support, looking like your best ally. But that, in fact, is setting the stage for his downfall. Click here right now and watch this video where I tell you the truth about the colleague who befriends you just to bring you down. And of course, I show you how to avoid falling into this silent trap. Trust me, this next step can save you from a lot of wear and tear in the future. I'll see you there in the next video, because you're not alone, and here we learn to protect ourselves and win, always.